Okay, I am just going to share what we bought today, feeding a family of 10 on the carnivore diet. There are a few things here that are not carnivore, and I'll address those in a minute, but basically, this is a grocery trip for us. I have shared what we buy on the carnivore diet before, but I am going to do something a little bit different. I'm also going to share what I have in my refrigerator at the end of the week. Also my freezer. I still have frozen hamburgers that we do plan to use this week. My refrigerator, and it is quite empty because we use everything. I do have some mustard here because we are experimenting making some sauces just to give ourselves a break from the meat taste all the time. But I'm going to share what I have left over. We have some leftover cooked meats up here. That's pork and sausage. And I can't remember what this is over here, but we're going to be using these up. And then we did buy one of these today, but I had these two left over because our chickens are producing a lot, and this is kind of just like my backup eggs in case we have a day where our chickens don't give us enough eggs. And then over here I've got several different random cheeses that we'll use, and we have been buying avocado. I know that's not carnivore, but it's just a nice break when we're getting tired of meat taste all the time. And then I also have 1.5 gallons left over of milk. Okay, so now I'm just gonna share what I have on my table, and I'm gonna start with our meat over here so that I can get this in the fridge because it's pretty hot today and I don't want to leave this out. So this week we have a couple things that we're trying different, and that would be this pork shoulder. I'm not sure how we're going to cook it yet, but that's new for us. Normally we get pork rib. 2 things of ground beef. We use that to make ground beef bowls. And then we've also been buying this ground pork and making a homemade breakfast sausage with it and adding it to eggs, and that has been really good. We do find that the ground pork is a little bit dry, so we alternate with pork belly because it's nice and fat, and it's nice and fatty, and we can't find a bacon that we can tolerate, so we just cook this up and we slice it up and we add it to our breakfast throughout the week. So that's our meat, besides the leftover meat that I have in the refrigerator and the hamburgers that I have in the freezer. Okay, and then this is our dairy section. So we do eat dairy on the carnivore diet. So we have our milk, and then we buy this organic butter. Sometimes Costco gets this New Zealand butter in, and I prefer to get that, but when they don't have it, I get the organic butter. And we just try to add it to our meals to make sure that we're getting enough fat. My little boys also like to eat butter and milk before bed. We also buy plain Greek yogurt. We add this to beef bowls and our breakfast, like with scrambled eggs and stuff, just to add a little bit of variety and protein. And then this is something we've been buying for a few grocery trips now, and we really like it, and we'll add this feta cheese to ground beef. Down here we have cheese slices, and we add these to our cheeseburgers. And then we have cheddar cheese, which we like to make a cheese sauce with this for ground beef bowls. And I have a video that I will share on this meal that we make with ground beef and cheese and cheddar. And then squeaker cheeses, because they're just really nice to easily add to the plates for the kids when they need a little bit more protein. Now, these items are not from Costco. Costco does sell pork rinds, but we don't like the ingredient list. So we finally found these pork rinds, and they're just 3 ingredients right there: pork rinds, lard, and salt. So we buy these mostly for Melissa, who is a year old, and she's learning to eat still. She's also still nursing, but she does join us for our meals, and we will crumble these up, and she loves these. As well as we add this Redmond salt to our food, and we make an electrolyte drink, and we add this to it. Normally what we have been doing is we have been eating 2 large meals a day, but we're finding it to just be too much food and we can't all finish one huge meal in a day. So this week we're going to try something a little bit different. So I've got 2 ingredients on my table that I'm just going to explain. So that would be these pepperoni sticks and this string cheese. We're actually going to just add a little sort of snack lunch type thing midday. That way we don't need to stop and cook anything and we just can grab something quickly. So these 2 things are new. We don't normally buy them. So we're just going to try that this week and see if everyone eating 3 times a day, if they can actually finish their meals instead of having such huge meals and then people needing to put their food in the fridge and come back to it later. So that's something new. And we've got 3 of those. And then 2 of these string cheese boxes there. These sausages are something new we started buying last week, and they're really simple ingredients. Let's see, what are they? They're just basically the cleanest sausages that we could find, and so far they've been okay. For our family, yeah, it would be like 3 of these for one meal, but we've been having leftovers and we leave it in the fridge, and then we've been taking it out and then wrapping a piece of cheese around it, and that has been a snack sometimes for whoever needs it throughout the day. And then a couple of non-carnivore things, obviously coffee, that's not carnivore, and these mini avocado cup things. I know it's not carnivore, but we've just been enjoying adding them to our ground beef bowls for just a little bit of variety and flavor, and we seem to handle that pretty well, so we've been buying that. And then some of my kids are sick this week, so we got some honey to make tea, and then we just bought some apple juice for the kids to have that for sore throats, or maybe make like some hot cider drink ideas or something. But those are our non-carnivore items right there. And then I usually never mention the fact that we buy carbonated water, but our family also takes Lugol's Iodine. We do not eat seafood because I just can't find a good source that we can eat, basically. And I don't even know how much iodine you would get in the seafood. So it's just not something that's really available to us. So we do supplement with Lugol's Iodine. And I find the best way to give that to my kids is in a little bit of carbonated water. My toddlers call it spicy water. And it just helps them to take it because it is a little bit potent. But I guess this week we could also take it in this juice. But I don't normally buy juice. We do buy carbonated water though. So I'm going to show my refrigerator one more time and share what it looks like full of carnivore-ish foods. So some of our leftover items up here, some of our leftover cheeses, and what our refrigerator looks like at the beginning of the week. On our grocery shopping days, we need a quick supper. So I consider sausages to be a kind of processed, easy meal to reach for after getting the groceries put away. Sundays, we also pick up leftover groceries from a local grocery store to feed our chickens. So it just ends up being a lot with little children in one afternoon to get the chickens all of those leftover groceries and then our own groceries put away. So, sausage bowls are my go-to on this day, and I thought I would just share putting them together. It's nothing fancy, but we eat 3 packages of these sausages. Right here, I am just sharing putting them together and removing the skins from the sausages, and I chop it up for my baby. She only has a few teeth, so I remove that skin because she can't really chew it, and then I chop it finely. She also had some yogurt, shredded cheese, I think a few pork rinds, and some butter. Anyway, so the sausages, as I said, they're from Costco, and we just found them to be the healthiest option regarding added ingredients. for a quick meal. So I just bake those, cut them up to put into bowls. We add some of those squeaker cheeses that I had shown earlier, but I have also just added shredded cheddar cheese. And Jeff wants to experiment making a cheesy mustard sauce for those sausage bowls. And if he does, I will share his recipe. We then top them with some plain Greek yogurt and avocado. I also had kombucha ready. If you're not familiar with kombucha, it's just fermented bubbly tea, and I make ours with raspberry leaves that I harvest. I'm actually in that harvesting season right now, so if you are not fully carnivore, or you're just interested in a bubbly probiotic rich drink to replace soda or juice for your family, or you have young kids and adding something like this drink to their meals might help them transition better to more animal based meals, let me know in the comments and I'll share how I make it.